So welcome to our presentation, Beyond the Perimeter, Protect Your Mobile Devices. And my name is Miriam Wiesner. And let me go to the next slide. I have also Sunana and Kanishk with me in this call. And Sunana will present with me. Sunana, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thank you, Miriam. So hi, everybody. My name is Sunana, and I am a product manager in the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint team. Yeah, I mean, overall, I have about 15 years of experience, mostly into products. And our team is based in India, like you have already known. So yeah, excited to be here. That's all about me.
Kanishk, we don't have you on the slide, but would you also like to just introduce yourself shortly so that people get to know you?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Kanishk. I'm the GPM for the product, and I'm here to help out with a few questions. Thank you.
Thanks. And I'm Miriam, and I was working as a program manager for Defender for Endpoint. And I was also the advocate for mobile threat defense. So next week, I will not be a program manager anymore. So I will start as a security researcher, but here I am still working as a program manager. Well, you might have heard a lot about security. You might even have tried to secure your organization as good as possible. And most organizations already have locked up a lot of stuff so that they became more secure. They do have detections, they do have defense mechanisms, and they are aware what is happening in their environment. At least this is what I would like them to do. And so it became harder and harder for attacker to also attack just the environment. So also it's not easy to find a bug in hardware compliance, for example, in a firewall or whatever. So this is not easy for an attacker to attack an environment. But since then, they are going for the weakest link, which are the users. And those users, they do not only use their computer at work, which are most of the time in modern environments already well secured and well detected. They also have, especially now in times of COVID, they also have their mobile devices, which they take to their homes, which they take to internet cafes, which they take wherever they are in the world to just quickly check also emails, to access company resources, and just quickly from the mobile devices. And this is what attackers also found out and have started to leverage, which then, of course, led to a bunch of headlines that you want to avoid for your own company. But how does such an attack basically look like, or how can you imagine that? Well, you might have heard it is easy to hack an Android device, but well, it's not that easy to really understand. Or have you ever seen such an attack? And for that, we have brought you a demo. And I hope that I will succeed with the play function, because this is my sworn enemy. If I fail with the play function, I'm sorry. So, well, what we will see here before we go here into the demo. So we will see here a malware, an actual malware, which is called Gravity Rat. This malware has been used recently in targeted attacks. So it has an icon similar to a chat application, to trick users into believing that it's a genuine chat application. And in this scenario, we will be looking at a spyware that is masquerading as a chat application. But yeah, in reality, it's not. It's just used in recent targeted attacks. And you can see here on the right side, this is the screen of the victim's phone. and the left side is the network capture utility. So the phone also contains sample messages, call logs, and also files for demonstration purposes. So you see here messages. There were some calls and contacts. And there are also files on the system. And of course, yes, it's just a demo, so it's not a real phone in this scenario. Yeah, and usually malicious apps are just sent or are delivered by sending phishing links through SMS, emails, or drive-by downloads from malicious websites. So I think 85% of the attacks are just outside of business emails, because emails are super secured, and therefore attackers often use text messages. And just imagine, in our modern world, you get often messages, oh yes, your parcel arrives. And because you order frequently from websites like Amazon or maybe also other vendors. And therefore, if your parcel arrives, you want to know and track it. And often also those malicious actors just send SMS like, yes, your parcel arrives. But there was a problem. Please click this link to review everything, to really receive your parcel. And you can imagine this could be the starting point of such an infection. So in this example, you see that the link to the app is delivered through an SMS. So the app is installed here. You see the So Safe chat. And once the application is launched, you see that it's requesting permissions. And usually users just being users. And yes, they allow everything because this makes the application work. So they don't think about allowing or denying. So they allow everything for the app to function correctly. And once it's allowed, everything you can see on the left here, it's populating. So there's a lot of network activity in the background happening. So let's look into detail what is happening here and what is sent back to the command and control server. So the initial data, what we see soon here, is the registration request to the CNC server. So you can see here that the application is registering. The next thing here that you see is that all the SMS are being sent back to the command and control server, which also you see there's also one message which delivers a two-factor authentication code. And once the attacker has installed such a malicious app, well, they also can just get the multi-factor authentication messages and use them for their own purpose. So you see everything, the phone number, the message was forwarded to the command and control server. And then the next one, you see that also the device details are being transferred. So the attacker knows exactly what model is that device of, what is the email, and also the phone number, which they can use then for their own purposes. And you also can see here the call log. So you can see how long has how long went the calls, and was it an outgoing or an ingoing call, and which number was called. And also here you also see the contacts. So in this example, we only have a very limited contact list, but it just shows that the attacker just gets everything on the phone that they want to get. And last but not least, we can also here see that files are being exfiltrated to the server. So we see that the file that we showed in this video earlier is now being uploaded to the command and control server. And last but not least, there's also the chance to upload files onto the mobile device. So yeah, basically the attacker with all that, with just installing or tricking the user into installing one application, has almost full control over the entire device. And so that is the threat landscape that we see. So I mentioned earlier that most phishing attacks that we see take place outside of email. So because emails are already well secured for most companies. And phishing is a big issue. And when it comes to applications, especially on Android, malicious applications are a huge threat. In iOS, it's not that much of a threat because iOS has a so Apple has a real good review process, which reduces the percentage of installing a malicious app drastically. But especially with Android, malicious apps are a common problem and are seen very often in organizations. And even imagine if you ever have worked in a company and tried to keep all devices, so user clients or servers, up to date. Yeah, that is a tedious task and it's really hard. So in my former life as a PFE, I also did a lot of security assessments and saw a lot of environments. And I would say maybe in 2% of all the environments that I assessed, I saw all patches, all systems patched, all systems up to date. So 2% of all environments that I saw. That is not a big number. And now, even imagine when it comes to mobile devices, do you think it will become easier? No. And we have seen a lot of devices that are out of date, that have an out of date OS operating system running, or that have vulnerable applications. And last but not least, I mentioned earlier iOS. So in the application context, so if the iOS device is not jailbroken, it is really hard to install a malicious app. But if a device is jailbroken, it is easy, and the attacker can easily trick the user into installing a malicious app. And the users are even doing that voluntarily if they just jailbreak their device just to install the latest whatever app that they want to run. And therefore, to summarize why we really need mobile threat defense nowadays, everybody now works mobile. I myself, I'm just working here from my home office. I'm not working from the office. And everybody uses also their mobile phones, and everything has gone online, and also the attackers. We saw so many attacks that really focused on mobile productivity. And many people think, well, we already do have a mobile device management. But a mobile device management is not enough because it is only to manage and it's not to secure your devices. So with that, we really say you should do something if you haven't done it yet, but you should do something about your mobile devices. And well, we are working in the product group for Microsoft Defender and working on Defender for Endpoint for mobile. And this here is an example how it would look like if Defender was in place, so that the malware would be blocked. So the application is installed. You see here the SoSafe app, and it's installed from the APK file. And you see immediately a threat was found on your device. And you see what kind of threat. So you already see the application, that the application is malicious. And if you scan, then you also find the vulnerable APK file. And of course, there are many options how to protect your, let me quickly go back. There are many options on how also to protect your corporate resources. You can also merge Defender with conditional access, so that if the device is insecure, that the users cannot access corporate resources. And here you see after scanning that not only the application was found, but also the APK file. And now we show you how it looks like in the portal. In this demo, we only have recorded the ICAR file, but basically it would look like the same. So you have an alert, you can get to the device, and you see here the risk level is medium, because here the ICAR file was detected. And you get all the information. So you have an incident timeline. You see when was the first activity. You see things like hashes. You see on which device it occurred. And now you can say that the user needs to remove the application and the threat to access the corporate resources again. And here we go. Device is cleaned up. No threats are found. And we also, Defender for mobile is quite new product. So let us show you what we already have. So one feature, as you saw, a lot of threats are coming up through SMS or through websites. And one very important feature is the web protection, because it just helps you to block phishing attempts when they happen. You also have the option to configure custom indicators, so that you can say, okay, maybe this URL is not accepted within our company. So you have the chance to block or allow URLs yourself. Then for Android, because you see that, or you saw that Android applications are a big threat. So currently this feature exists for Android. We have the malware scan. So you get an alert if malware was found on the device or potentially unwanted applications. And you also have the option to scan storage and memory peripheral. Then for iOS, because one of the biggest threats for iOS currently is jailbreaks. So if the device is jailbroken, and this is also included via the Intune jailbreak feature. And for some features, iOS and Android require that a VPN connection is established. And therefore, earlier, with most products, you need to have two applications. So basically a VPN and the protection application. And we integrated here Defender and Tunnel, and Tunnel is the VPN application from Intune. We integrated both into one app. So currently it's for Android only, but we are, I think it's already in public preview. The Defender plus Tunnel feature also for iOS. So with that, you only need one application for two purposes. And of course, you don't need to use the VPN connection. So that is voluntarily if you want to use certain features, of course. Single pane of glass is really important. And I talked with a lot of customers in the past, and it was not only Defender for mobile, it was also other products. And people told me, well, now I have so many portals that I need to check regularly. And this is so annoying because I need to keep track of everything. And we want to have a single pane of glass. And now with Defender for Endpoint for mobile, you also have the mobile alerts in the same pane, in the same panel as also your other endpoint alerts. Yeah, keeping track of your updated applications or outdated operating systems is really, really hard. And with the threat and vulnerability management, or short TVM, we try to simplify this tedious task. So with threat and vulnerability management, you can see, you can assess what software is installed on Android and iOS devices. And we also have an exposure score. And currently this feature is in public preview. So if you want to check it out, it's there. Go and check it out. And of course, better together with Intune. So you can, of course, also use a third-party MDM. But from what I know, I really like the combination together with Intune. So you can, as I mentioned earlier, you have the option to configure conditional access so that devices are only able to access company resources if they are clear or if they have a low risk score. And you can configure more. You can also have the risk signals and app protection policies transferred to Defender. And there are several options that are supported how you can onboard it. So for example, for iOS, it's possible to onboard supervised and unsupervised. And for Android, you have Device Administrator and Android Enterprise. Several options there which are supported. Well, Android Enterprise is currently the best option to go, but nevertheless, Device Administrator is still supported. And yeah, so if you already have the license for Defender for Endpoint, don't be scared because Defender for Mobile is also in this license. And with that, Sunana, would you like to show us a little bit around the features and around the portal?
Yes, thanks, Miriam. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll just walk through each of the features that Miriam just talked about, just to, double click on those. So single pane of glass. So this is the single window view that Miriam was just talking about. With, Defender, you just have one portal to look at the signals or alerts from all the different platforms. You don't need to go to multiple portals. And here, if you see in one single view, you have signals from all the platforms: Mac, Linux, Windows, and now Android and iOS. So when, as a threat hunter, when I'm looking at these signals, it can be a much richer experience when I'm doing some analysis on the threats. Next slide, Miriam. This is the same demo which Miriam just showed. This shows how a malware gets detected on the device and the user gets notified. And if conditional access is set up, then yeah, this is the same alert that Miriam just spoke about. Once a malware is detected on the device, security admins have a view into the malware. They can do some analysis on what the malware is and get some more information about the particular malicious file. And if the conditional access has been set up, this is through Intune. Yeah, just wait for the conditional access part to come in. Yeah, if the conditional access is set up, then on the device, you will be blocked from using corporate data unless you remediate, and you can remediate by, uninstalling the app, and you can do that from the MDE app itself. And once you have remediated, there are no malicious files on your device. Your device becomes non-risky or, compliant again, and you're back to accessing your corporate data. This is a quick demo again on the anti-phishing features, the web protection which Miriam just spoke about. So here, key thing to note is anti-phishing does not only work for certain browser or managed apps. It works across the device. So even SMS or all your chat applications, we protect you from those as well. So here, the user gets an SMS. And it has a link. So user clicks on the link, which turns out to be a phishing link, and Defender blocks it, and it notifies the user, so that user is aware that it's a phishing link. And an alert is sent to the security portal where admins can have a view. They are notified that, hey, there's a phishing website, and more details about the phishing campaign. We also have a demo on custom indicators, so admins can set up an URL or a domain which they think is risky or unsafe, and once they have applied that URL, um, the same URL gets blocked on the mobile device as well. This is the threat and vulnerability management feature. This is right now in public preview, and I'll just quickly talk about what's available with mobile. So TVM is already part of the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint offering. On Windows and Mac and Linux, you have a whole bunch of features. For mobile, currently what is available is vulnerability assessment of OS. This is for both Android and iOS. For apps, this is right now only for Android, but we will add support for iOS apps very soon. Exposure score. So basically the exposure score tells you how exposed your organization is to risks and vulnerabilities. So with mobile support, it would include the mobile exposure score as well. And then security recommendations, these are based on the vulnerability assessment, like what you can do to keep your exposure score at a minimum. Software inventory, this is right now available for Android, but yeah, we'll add for iOS as well. And then, like I said, for Windows, Mac and Linux, you have a whole bunch of capability within TVM. But so that those are also part of the mobile offering, which is weakness page or advanced hunting. So all those advanced hunting queries will show up in for mobile as well. Right now we don't have the secure score, but we plan to add it as well. And yeah, next slide, Miriam. This is just a look at the dashboard, and Miriam, one more click. Yeah, so this is where like even the single pane of glass also comes in, right? So within one single dashboard, you also get a view into your mobile vulnerabilities. One more click, Miriam. So the first one tells about the security recommendations. The second one is how do you remediate those vulnerabilities. The third one is the vulnerable software. What are the vulnerable softwares in your organization? It includes your mobile OS and apps as well. And then top exposed devices, so that as an admin you can prioritize to mitigate these risks. Next we have yeah, this is also a view into the weaknesses page. So with TVM for mobile, you would have all weaknesses even from mobile in a single view page. Next, yeah, this is like a sneak peek into what's coming next. Zero touch onboard. This is through Intune. So in enroll devices on Intune, you can deploy and onboard them without having the user to interact or open the app. So that is coming. Tamper protection. So let's say you deploy the app, but let's say user uninstalls the app or deactivates the app, right? So how do you protect from those tamper scenarios? So that is also something we'll bring in very soon. Android enterprise support for personal profile. So a lot of customers, they want to also protect the personal side. So we are bringing in that support as well, where admins can choose to deploy it on the personal side, and that will protect the personal side as well. Defender plus tunnel, I think Miriam already spoke about it. This is already there in Android, and we'll look to add it for iOS as well. Enhanced network protection. This is basically, detecting against man-in-the-middle attacks like rogue Wi-Fi access points or rogue CA certificates and stuff like that. So that is also something that is coming in.
Yeah, and with that, our call to action. So please make sure to also protect your mobile devices. Attackers are out there and are targeting mobile devices. Let us know how we can help. If you have any questions, well, we are here for questions, of course, but if you have after this presentation any questions, if you're watching the presentation on YouTube or whatever, and you did not have the chance to ask us during this call, we also wrote our DL, our email address here on this slide, so you can contact us. Protect your mobile devices. Let us know how we can help. We are here to help. Thank you.